sounded a little constipated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I look okay?
Mm-mm.
It's the first time I've worn my hair up on this thing.
Yeah, you look like a straight up Timothy Chalamet Sr.
I don't think I have quite as chiseled of a jawline.
You look like you just got out of the military.
I do. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No, I was laughing because it's upsetting that so many people message and they're like, your co-host just has the most beautiful voice as a voice actor. I'm like, well, what am I?
I'm shocked because I've never liked my voice. And there have been a lot of people that have said that. I've heard it too.
Okay, well, don't get...
Listen, it's going to get to my head and
no, I'm really...
Headspace, whichever apps. If you need any storytellers or readers with a very relaxing voice, let me know because it's for the people, you know?
Cut to my voiceover agent calling you like, hi, Miriam, we'd love to have you come in for a meeting. Just a general. You've got something kind of unique going on.
And then they try and get me to do anything else other than my voice. And I'm like,
wait.
Nah.
You know, the first time that I had a meeting with a voiceover agent, I went in and they were like, do you want to just read an audition while you're here? Like, we have one that we're casting for right now. And I was like, sure. And it was like, you had to say the letters as though you were being punched. So, like, a seasoned voice actor would know exactly what to do.
Uh-huh.
And I remember standing in the booth punching myself. I was like, hey! Hey! And I kept being like, can I do it again? Like, bruising. Because I just, like, it was my first meeting with them and I wanted to do really well. And it was like, they have a little window through.
Like, I'm committing to
where
this.
They can, like, see you. And they're like, you don't have to do that. You kind of just do it with your voice. It's like, I don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah. I don't know that I don't think I could do that.
There's a lot of things you learn along the way. It feels weird. It feels like we haven't missed a week.
It's been a while. Yeah. Thanksgiving got in the way of us recording. So I feel like we have simultaneously a lot to catch up on. And also nothing really happened in the last week other than sitting around with our families. But
speak for yourself.
All right.
No, it was. I played a fuck ton of Candy Crush.
I watched a fuck ton of soccer.
Yeah.
That was my entertainment.
We both went up to Portland. Well, I mean, the podcast is live now.
The podcast is live.
I gotta say,
thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for your messages, your comments, your ratings. I mean, some of the messages, I was just like... It's just like there's so much love.
Yeah. No, I was terrified people were going to be like, Becky, we love you, but who the fuck is this idiot sitting next to you? And so far, unless you're hiding them from me, I haven't gotten word of that yet.
You got to get that out of your head.
It was my biggest fear. So,
well, I remember I smoked like a couple joints throughout the time leading up to when we released it.
Okay.
And I was like wildly in my head.
Really?
Like, this is not a good thing. Sometimes I smoke weed and I start to think people and things are very evil. It happened with my sister once, and she was like, I thought she was like the Exorcist.
Oh,
and
my
so she
God.
never, whenever I'm home, she like never wants me to smoke weed. She's like, are you going to think I'm the fucking Exorcist again?
Wow.
And it's like, well, it depends how rippity splicked I get.
I mean, last time I got stoned was with you, and I just was laughing.
So long ago.
I know, it was like 4 years ago. But we went to lunch, and I was laughing so uncontrollably, and it was in my head that the server was going to think we were high, which so clearly we were.
Yeah. Just eating gyros.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so many fries. I remember also feeling like I ate so much that my stomach was going to explode.
Yeah.
And then we passed out. I think we must have had like a sugar crash, like blood sugar crash, and just...
Yeah.
just
I remember that
napped in
being
the
a
middle
really
of the
giggly
day.
day. Because we were kind of acting like...
That was the origin of Sam Lamb.
Sam Lamb.
Yeah.
Because we were acting like... That's 7-Eleven, by the way.
Yeah.
Sam Lamb. We were walking stoned down the street to see a movie at the Los Feliz
3.
Mm-hmm. What movie? Get Out? No. I don't remember. But I remember walking...
I think we actually talked... I think you mentioned it on a previous episode, but I don't remember.
You were living by the 7-Eleven. Sam Lamb.
Sam Lamb.
Want to go Sam Lamb get some snacks? Sam Lamb. What?
Just watching your mouth do that.
family.
Yeah, exactly. You
Well,
got
because
real
it's kind
small.
of like that song, oh, Black Betty, family.
Yeah. Oh my
Black
god,
Betty
it
had a
is.
child, family.
Oh boy.
Maybe it doesn't feel like it's been that long because I saw your ass in Portland on that photo shoot, which was classic. So we had to do like a promo shoot because Miriam and I don't have pictures together.
Yeah.
We were like, maybe we can Photoshop something together of us in the same room when we were 6. But Miriam had never done a photo shoot before.
Never.
And Lord, was she nervous. You were like a little baby deer. What's that called? A fawn?
I don't know. A doe, I think. No.
You were like Bambi out there. Like, I don't know how to stand.
Well, okay. To be fair, it's already sort of nerve-wracking. And then compared to you, where you're like working the camera, like you've got every angle. Your legs are like moving in positions that I didn't even know you could stand in. Also, I had a bum knee. So you're like, let's jump. And I'm like, I'm going to bust my ACL. I couldn't keep up. I was definitely in my head. And
it's hard not to be when you're doing those. There's been many, many times when I've been very in my head doing those things.
Yeah.
Like,
you did say it was fun to do it with someone else.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Even just having a friend there. Like, there's one person I always shoot with. He's my favorite, Matt Masisco. He's the best.
Matt
Just had a
Masisco.
baby. So cute. And he shoots comedy shows and shoots like professionally on movies and TVs all the time. And I always do like portraits with him, like my character stuff, my regular stuff. And there's been days when I'm just like, oh, I'm so not myself. And
Yeah.
he's like so cool, like always like playing good music, candles are lit. It's like the most chill. It's like in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
But like then there's days when I go with a friend or you're just feeling good and you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm feeling it today.
Yeah. I also
So-
love how the photographer, who did not know what this was, like a friend of a friend connection, we walk in there, she meets us for like 30 seconds, and then she just guessed that what we would want to listen to was Run DMC. And
Yeah.
it was so spot on.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Like, this is exactly what we need to be listening to right now.
She was great.
Yeah.
So
Cameron.
we took our picks. We parted ways for Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
which mine was on the exact same day
Yeah,
that we
that's
took
right.
said photos.
Yeah. We didn't realize that you were doing early Thanksgiving.
Yeah, doctors in the fam.
Oh, is that what? Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
wondering why that was.
They all
Got
have
it.
to work, so holidays are always not on the actual holidays.
Yeah. You were up there, had a lot of family time.
Yeah. Brought
You-
the dog.
You brought the dog.
Brought the dog.
Did you see, like, your grandpa's up there, right?
He's newly up there. Yeah, my parents just moved him
Okay.
into, and part of it has assisted. I feel really safe in a home.
And
What are they
like
called?
an assisted living home.
In
Yeah.
an assisted living home. Like I felt like overwhelmed with like joy and warmth when I was in there.
Interesting.
Just kind of looking around. Like there was this little lady like using the gym, just like she's moving in slow mo, wearing like little ballet flats.
Oh.
And like there's other lady sitting watching TV, and she had left just one curler in the back of her hair. Don't know if she knew.
One piece was out of place.
But some of them are alone. Some of them have their significant other. And
Yeah.
like, it's funny to see. It's like they're fully realized humans. Like they're just raw,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like talking shit to their spouse if they have one there.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It's classic. My grandpa is fairly out of it at this point. He's 95. He's about to turn 96.
Mm-hmm.
My last living grand folk.
Okay.
And Roca, his Italian wife. Yeah, it was fun, like just looking at all the pictures and his little mini apartment that he's got there.
Yeah.
She like came over from Italy and like really wanted to be Americanized, I guess, and so she took dance classes. And my grandpa was a dance teacher,
No
so they
way.
met during dance classes, and that's
This is your mom's dad?
My dad's
Your dad's dad. Okay. Gotcha.
Grandpa Phil.
Wow.
Yeah.
They do a lot of activities. My grandma's 96 and
Yeah.
she's in a, like, I guess it is now. It was like a old folks apartment, so there was no sort of like staff like helping you throughout the day, and now she's in a new apartment that's smaller, and she has like people that are helping her with her medication and stuff, and for the most part she's like so with it, but she has moments where she's just like gone.
She gone.
Yeah. And over the holiday, we were like sitting down chatting, and she was just like, "How's school?" And I was like, "Oh, how old do you think I am?" And it's one of those things where you don't want to like be like, "I'm not in school anymore, Grandma." 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just
What
like,
the hell?
obviously, like, you know, memories shifting, and it's hard to keep track of everything, and I don't want to like make her feel bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just bittersweet because I like tried to play it off, and I was like, school was good when I was in it, and now now I've been, work's great, like. And
Does she get like freaked out if you were to be a little bit more like, I'm not in school?
She gets confused. You can tell she kind of
Okay.
like gets confused, like she gets a little lost.
Does she have dementia or Alzheimer's?
No, I think it's just, I mean, she's 96.
96, yeah.
She's just old age. But yeah, at one point she asked me, she's like, "Are you making a living for yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, like the pride on her face was so adorable. And it's like, I know she knows or knew at one point, like I was she's like, "That's really hard to do as a woman."
Oh, like a single lady?
And
Oh.
I was just like, I don't think, whatever, 5 years ago she would have been like, obviously you're making a living, but now I like got to impress her all over again.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
It's fucking perfect. The generational stuff is odd. Like, my grandpa made a point to ask if my sister, like, how's your, Sarah, was it your fiance that I met? And she was like, he's my boyfriend, but like, yeah. And like, I don't know if he knows that I'm in a relationship.
Right.
I don't know if that's something my parents have either
disclosed.
Yeah. I could see him talking some shit for sure.
Yeah.
You're gay? That would get him riled up. He just, it's so funny because like, one thing I love that it's like, it comes across as such a power move, but like
what?
The shit that grandparents do or old people in general.
Yeah.
The elderly. They, like, I had driven out to go see my grandpa at his place and have lunch and then like he loves playing pool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the thing that gets him moving around.
Yeah.
And he's like the only one in this assisted living place that like plays pool. So they like sit there and watch him and it's like his thing.
Is he good?
He's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's better than I am.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. And so we like played one game and then we went to play another and it was my dad and me versus my grandpa and my mom. And we had hit like twice each on this brand new game and he just grabbed his cane and starts walking toward his room and goes, "I'll see you guys later." And he just left. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see you again. Like like how about a quick goodbye?
Oh my God.
It brought back. I was walking through the halls though, because there's like an Alzheimer's wing, and it brought back so many memories of. I really wanted to go down that wing because my other grandpa on my mom's side had Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And that home was a fucking riot.
Really?
We had some good memories.
I mean, how long was he there for? Like
That's-
most of your childhood?
That's a good question. Like, yeah, early, like probably 10 to 12.
Okay.
Maybe 9 to 12.
Got it.
I don't know. I don't know the exact length, but I remember moving him in and then like meeting some of the people. There was this one lady who was convinced she was our aunt, and she was like, "I'm your Aunt Bert, and your mommy is my daddy, and her daddy is my cousin." Now, and she grew up in Texas, and she would always just randomly be like, "Deep in the heart of Texas," like. And then my grandpa too, like he, the thing that's like, that seems like a power move is like they just do things and then walk away.
Right.
Like my grandpa loved Old Country Buffet. And so
Okay.
one time we took him to Old Country Buffet and he walked up to these two people that were eating who were a little bit bigger. And he just looked at this woman and he said, "Hey, your legs look like a couple of redwood trees." And then he just walked away. And my mom was glad to go over and be like, "I'm so sorry. Can I please like buy your lunch?
Oh.
He has Alzheimer's, Like,
Oh my God.
so sorry, but he didn't know,
Also doesn't care.
Doesn't care. Well, yeah, that part of,
I mean,
I think he was at a stage of Alzheimer's where like he would have cared, but it was maybe that part of the faucet was off.
yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My grandma, I wonder if that's a generational thing too, like body shaming.
100% for sure.
My grandma, one time we were at the airport and we were waiting for my mom to like go get the car and pick us up from the curb. And there was this guy who's super overweight and he was waiting to get picked up. And I'm like chatting with my grandma, and then she just kind of like glances over, sees him, and then looks at me and she just goes, pathetic. And I was like, oh my God.
It's like it's
Granny.
mean.
Yeah, it's so
Granny,
harsh.
you fucking bitch.
I know, it's just like, Jesus. She's just like, well, like double down. I'm like, oh my God, like give the guy a break.
Yeah,
But
they do that. It's been cracking me up since we've released this first one. Like, the amount of people that are like, what is Zin? Zins are, please sponsor me, or I need to kick this addiction. They're cool mint, they're nicotine pouches. I never smoked cigarettes or anything. People are always like, so you trying to get off the cigs? I'm just a country girl.
just, yeah, she likes to dip.
I like, is it called dip though if it's nicotine?
I don't know.
And
But I
love
do know.
that-
Oh, I just think not only were people asking what a Zin is, but they were also asking what a Zim was. Like,
yeah, and the
nobody-
spelling was just. I like we tried so hard to hide these from my parents while I was home.
Really,
Yeah, I don't
They
think they
didn't-
would care, but
they didn't notice your lip just
or
popping
just
out
like
the
constantly
top.
like touching my mouth and then putting them in my pockets, and then they fall out and the dog eats them and shits everywhere.
Oh my God.
That didn't really happen to me. It has happened, you know.
Yeah.
They slip out,
Yeah.
but
Hard to keep track when you shove them in your bra, you know?
Yeah, but Zins, I was always like embarrassed by them. I never wanted anyone to see them, and then once I started being like, fuck it, there's people that would sneak up at shows and be like, hey, I got them too.
Oh my God. Funny. I had one of my friends text me and was like, I didn't realize how many normal people used Zins.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, apparently it's a thing. And also simultaneously a thing that no one knows about. Because I
Yeah.
had so many people. The more than any other feedback I got was, what is a Zin?
What's this?
Will I learn on this podcast what a Zin is? And the answer is yes.
After reading the comments was making me laugh too, because it is a ridiculous name.
It is.
Because it is kind of like you get a little zzz.
Oh, true.
That's exactly
true.
what it does.
Yeah, that's true. Let the record show I told Becky not to eat on the podcast.
I thought it would be charming.
Yeah, she was like, no, it's relatable. I'm like, no, it's fucking awful. She's swirling around her ice drinks, just making
yeah.
all sorts of noises. Yeah, sorry about that. We will avoid.
I thought it was
Smacking.
an ASMR thing. But apparently not. So the popcorn's on the floor. I make sure to get in. I eat the popcorn.
We're
yeah.
recording without any chewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the hand therapist this morning and, for the fingy because she's still
Yeah.
bent. We made progress since last time, but this hand therapist was kind of like, yeah, what do you do for work? And last time I was there, I was so late to the appointment. I got there with 5 minutes left and Courtney was with me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my assistant.
Oh my God.
And so they let her back just so she could hear what the exercises were to help remember. But I went in today and he was like, so I looked at your Instagram. Yeah. The Halloween costume reviews. Pretty funny. It's like,
And you're in a doctor's outfit or a nurse's outfit in one of them. It's like, if you ever need a job.
yeah, I was like,
Oh my
I can
God.
come assist as a physician's assistant.
Oh.
Jesus, but he's giving me this contraption, I guess, that's like, I'm like, how lazy am I? There's like a few stretches I need to do to get back to homeostasis.
Uh-huh.
And these like wants to give me this basically bionic robot arm that bends
That
your
moves
finger
your
down
finger.
for you so it'll stretch out the thing. And it's like this massive contraption that takes up half your arm just to bend down your pinky. It looks like someone made it as like a prototype at not Harvard. Like at my college.
At high school, yeah.
San Diego State. at high school. It's like they accidentally made it in like a wood shop class.
Yeah.
But
Kids are making that like egg drop. What was that? Like that
Egg
was
drop.
a thing when you would like come up with a contraption and then you drop the egg, you put an egg in it and you drop it off the roof, and if your egg doesn't crack, you win.
I don't remember that.
Oh, well.
I remember dropping quite a few eggs out of my ass cheeks. They all broke.
I remember laying a few eggs, but okay, anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
not that.
No, but things are good with Aaron. We've been therapy has been helpful as much as it's been like full of tears.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of emotions have been coming out over the past couple months. We did the last therapy session while she was in Amsterdam, and we like hadn't really talked on the phone.
Oh God.
And so it was like, why are we doing this hosted 2-hour Zoom when we haven't even caught up on our own?
Yeah.
Like, with this therapist. And we both finished the session bawling our eyes out. Just like, this is weird. Something feels off. We both had like really busy days after that. I had to go straight into a meeting with the venue in Aspen that we're playing. Her day, I'm sure, was busier. Mine was like, I had to shoot a video in one meeting. We both were just slammed. But like, I'm literally shooting this Twisted Tea video about Thanksgiving, and thank God the character wears glasses because I was crying behind it. And Ben's just like, we gotta just get through it. Okay, we just gotta get through it. Okay, just say the line, all right, about the turkey. And I was like, at one point I was wanting to cry so bad that I was like, I wonder if I can just somehow make this a part of the video that seems like it's really good acting.
Oh my God.
Because I was like, I couldn't get the waterworks to turn off, because it was like, when you leave a 2-hour session not on a good note, it's like, fuck. And right after, before the Twisted Tea video, it was a full day of tears. I had a call with the venue that I'm playing in Aspen, the Wheeler Opera House, and they're like the best team ever. They're like so upbeat, and that's not always the case. That people are like really what's the word, accommodating.
Sure. Yeah.
To your needs. Like a lot of time they're like, no. And they're like, I'm like, I get on the thing and they're like, oh, Bex, we can't see it. And I was like, if it's all right, I'm going to leave my camera off. I just finished therapy and I've been crying.
Oh, no.
They're like, oh, it's fine. But I'm sure they're also like this fucking psycho.
No.
But then they're like, all right, well, I guess let's get right into it. Does the show involve any flames? It's like, not currently, can it?
They're like, we saw your previous videos and there seemed to be lots of flames.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But the therapist has given really good insights on a couple things that I think I keep coming back to when I get in ruts, or I feel like I'm trapped, or like that there's issues in the relationship. And one of them are like, sex can be weird in any relationship. Doesn't matter, male or female. It's like, it can be funky, it can seem odd. Like, it's not always movie scene, slam against the door, tights tear off, notebook scene.
Right. Uh-huh. I like trying to picture what funky sex is like.
I don't know why I said funky. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
It's got the Parliament on in the background. Oh my God.
Funky sex. It just makes me think of like smelly.
Ew.
But like, there's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah.
There are people that like throw up on dicks.
Yeah.
You can queef, you can shit, you can shart.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just nasty sex. That ain't funky. That's nasty.
Funky shit. I'm into that funky shit. White Lotus.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. In last week's episode of White Lotus, Jennifer Coolidge.
How did he tee her up? That's what I couldn't remember.
He said, well, we'll have to like post the clip or something. Okay. But
I want to hear your whole story or something like that. I want to hear how you became like the heroine of your own tale.
Yeah. I want to hear, tell me. She was like, oh, it's a long story. And he's like, I want to hear it all. And she goes, okay, well, it was September 25th. I was born in San Francisco or something like that.
I was born in San Francisco.
And he's like, oh, all the way.
Oh, we're going to start all the way back.
And I was like, this is very relatable television.
Yeah, I bet. It's you in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to go, okay, 34 years ago. Great, Miriam.
Yep.
Perfect.
We'll take it. Yeah.
You've given me a lot of good relationship advice over time.
Like what?
I don't know. You just you have a way of like being really rational and also funny. I think you just like what I
I know your
need.
style. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get too fluffy with it.
Like a lot of times I get stuck thinking things are really, really serious, and I'm like, fuck, and I'm panicking, and then like, it's like anything that's tough. You remember that it's okay to have like be lighthearted about things and have a sense of humor, and like,
Yeah.
you know, you'll crack a joke, and then it's just like, oh my god, this whole shell breaks free. This whole
Aw.
shell of panic is like shed, and then I'm
Yeah.
like myself again.
Yeah.
I just
It's
feel like
how-
I've been in many a hotel room and called you and been like, yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
fucking Detroit, and I don't know.
It's just like, yeah, I mean, maybe that's how I process stuff. Like, I need
You give a
people
lot of
to
advice
break
for
the
someone
ice.
who's been single for this long.
I know. I don't know how. Like, maybe the key to sanity is being single forever.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I guess it just offers like a non-biased perspective. Like, it's easy for me to see things like clearly from both sides.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
That's how I like to approach things too.
yeah. No, I just like what things?
Everything.
Just things.
I put myself in others' shoes every day,
Yeah.
and hair.
And yeah, that's true. And clothes.
That's what, yeah.
And personalities.
Eraser.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get like the whole picture. I don't know. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem fair. Like, I'm not ever going to be one of the friends that people come to like have their back no matter what. Which makes me sound like a bad friend. Like, I'm a loyal friend.
No. That's what I respect most
Yeah.
about you.
I won't
Not
pander.
most, but
It's yeah. I'm
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'll tell people what I actually think. And
Yeah.
sometimes that causes issues with friends, but I'm like, I'm not going to be
it's better in the long run.
yeah, if you're acting a fool, I'm not going to be like, you tell him, you know, like, no, you're being crazy.
It's like he's not calling you back because he likes you too much.
Yeah.
That type of talk.
Yeah,
I
I'm
ain't
not
got any room for that in my life.
No.
I don't want to hear that.
Mm-mm. It ain't right.
It ain't right.
Yeah. Well, do you want to, like, I don't know if all the listeners know, like, how you and Aaron even met. Like, do we want to start at birth of this
Well, I was born in
relationship?
Portland.
Well, I remember, I mean, from my perspective, you were out of town and you went to a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
And I remember you coming back. I think we had dinner, like, you came over to my house or something, and you're like, there's this girl there, and I think I have a crush on her. I don't know what I'm feeling. I was like, what? And then I was giving you shit. I was like, how come you've never had a crush on me? And I was
I
just like-
remember that.
And I was just like trying to like poke at you.
I was like, Miriam, don't kid yourself.
Exactly. But yeah, I remember you being like, I don't know, it was just weird. She's like hot. Like, she's really hot. And I was like, huh, all right, interesting. Fast forward a few months and you guys were like professing your love for each other and forgetting to call me on my birthday.
Miriam.
So I got left in the dust
this bitch and her
for
motherfucking
this
birthday.
new romance.
How many years are we going to do this for?
No, I think
Till
it's
we perish?
I mean, you've never once remembered my birthday, so I think.
That's not true. I said happy birthday this fucking year.
Did you?
Yeah. You don't remember.
I don't know. I think
I always call you within 3 days of it.
that's true. Or it's always like that year in particular, the Aaron year. I remember because like 2 days before my birthday, you're like, I will call you on your birthday, and I was like, I don't think you will, and it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. And you're like, no, I'm not gonna forget this year. I'm not gonna forget.
And
And
then-
you fucking forgot. You
Was that-
guys were in Idaho or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, the next day, you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just think it's funny because you make a big deal out of it. I don't really give a shit.
Okay.
But
Sure.
now it's funny because it's lasted so long.
This past year, you didn't tell me happy birthday. You know what? I don't give a negative damn.
Did I not?
I don't think so. Like you did a
That
couple
can't
days
be
late.
true.
It doesn't fucking matter. You know?
I'm going to get to the bottom of it. But
We all getting old.
yeah,
I
I
didn't
forget
realize
birthdays
that you
a
could
lot.
put a repeating event in your iPhone calendar.
You can
until-
add people's birthdays to their contact.
That's nice.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that trick. It's not like I remember birthdays. My phone tells me it's people's birthdays.
Since I've been with Erin, she's put some birthdays in my phone.
Really?
And she's also the one that reminds me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like the mom.
You
she's
text me
she's gonna be the
yesterday.
one that's like handwriting cards. You know, and
yeah.
I'll just be like putting a stamp on them. My signature.
Just sign your name. That's it. Yeah, that's how my dad always did it. My mom would write like a like fluffy message, and then my dad's just like Bubba.
Yeah.
That's
My
it.
mom would always write a nice message, and then my dad would draw this weird little caricature that had like a weird little furry, like, it's in every card, every birthday card. It's like his weird little, it's like it's kind of, it's like a BC character.
BC,
AD, BC.
like
What is it?
before Christ.
Before Christ, after Dominican. After, what's D? After Dominion?
death.
Do you guys know?
Anno Domini. That's what it means.
What is it?
Anno Domini.
Anno Domini.
In the year of the Lord.
Before Cride, at the Domini.
Huh. Wow. I don't know that I ever knew that.
Yeah, I didn't have my first communion. Fuck are you laughing at, Ben?
So random.
I mean, yeah, I don't
just-
know how to respond to
I
that.
never got to eat the bread or drink the wine.
Oh, well.
Makes me a little sad.
Maybe we-
Mike and Sarah got it. My brother and sister got it.
Mm,
And then it came to me and they were like, she's in gymnastics.
you were the accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So-
Erin and I are still together.
You guys are still together. You're going to therapy.
We're going to
It's
therapy. There is one
good.
there is one thing about it that the therapist has started giving us homework. I mean, the name of that really chaps my puss.
Uh-huh.
Homework.
Right.
At this age,
It's too old for that.
too old for that kibble.
Yeah.
And sometimes when Erin leaves town, she's like, I'm going to give you a honey-do list. You know, like things you need to do while I'm away. And I'm like, oh, for Christ's sakes. It's always
Yeah.
wash the fucking duvet covers. That's the hardest thing. Have you ever done that on a king bed?
You just have to dive your whole body in.
And then even then, you don't reach.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
dog's always pissing on the duvet covers. Neither here nor there. But so she's been giving us homework, and like some of the things are like simple things. Like Erin's always late to the airport, which pisses me off. So because
Uh-huh.
I'm always waiting in the Uber, you know, just like she's coming.
Oh.
I swear she's coming.
Oh.
And they're just pissed. And because she like will water her plants right before we leave for a trip, but not for the rest of the month. But if we're leaving for 2 days, it's like, hang on, I gotta water all the 117 plants. And I'm like, it's been months they've had in their succulents. You know? It's fine.
Yeah.
And she moves very slow
Uh-huh. I can see
when
that.
she does things. And I'm like, and I never forget anything, knock on wood. But she moves very slow and then forgets things. And I feel like one or the other, bitch. One or the other. You're not going to move like a goddamn turtle and then be like, oh, I forgot my wallet.
Yeah.
It makes me so angry. And
Yeah.
so we talked about that and they were like, okay, Erin, like we're going to have a compromise. You're going to pack the night before. Becky will help with like more of the your plants and shit or whatever and like, you know, do all that stuff. So that helped. But one of the other pieces of homework was to like reconnect intimately.
Okay.
And it just felt like when Erin went about it, it was like, okay, this is the last thing I need to check off the list. We're
Oh.
doing it right now.
Oh.
And
It's like on her calendar, like a meeting.
yes, 100%. Yeah.
She gets a Zoom notification.
Time to go. And so while we were like hooking up, all I could picture was the therapist's head,
Oh.
her hair, and just being like,
Her hair that's never seen a hot tool.
that's never seen a hot tool. And then we get into therapy, and I'm like, well, you've ruined sex for me.
Oh, God.
Because all I can think is that Erin's checking it off the list.
What did the...
Because
what
if something's on the list, Erin can't not do it. She's like,
Yeah.
because she talks about it's all this childhood stuff. Like, that's how she thought, like, that she receives love.
Mm.
And for me, like, being funny is that. And I've
Right.
grown up thinking that way. Like, oh, if I want to receive love, like, tell a good story, be funny.
Yeah.
And for her, it's like making sure everything is perfectly in its place and like organized and all that stuff.
Yeah. What did the therapist tell you once you told her you pictured her during sex?
She just laughed.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. She's like, my plan worked.
No, it was kind of like, I wasn't expecting that reaction. What the fuck are you laughing at? It's freaky. I don't want to be seeing. I will say though that like a lot of weird, unfortunate things cross my mind when I'm doing sexual things.
Are we talking funky sexual things or what?
We can delete that.
Yeah, what?
Like, do you have images that come in your brain and you're like, no?
Actually, I'm very like the line in White Lotus where she's like, I just disassociated. I feel
yeah.
like I'm just like thinking about other stuff all the time.
Yeah. I think that's normal. But does an image ever fly through that you're like,
Yeah, I don't know. Not
my brain is like always montaging.
Yeah. You're like spiral transition. Oh my God.
Have we talked since you've been in Sonoma?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I think the last one. I honestly, I have zero recollection of what we talked about on the last one.
Oh.
Other than I know we both felt weird.
Oh, yeah, we were both. Yeah.
But I can't remember for the life of me what we talked about, which is why I asked Chris. I was like, can you send that? Because I'm like, I have no idea what we
I had
talked
about
about.
12 Celsius. I'm just hoping I didn't eat popcorn on it because I remember being really hungry that day.
You definitely ate popcorn the whole Courtney episode.
I really shouldn't be eating a
Both
whole
of you
bag
were
of
just like-
popcorn right before these because it's just like...
Well, I heard you today. You went to the bathroom and then you're like, don't make popcorn. Don't make popcorn. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make popcorn. And I like heard the whole, and I could picture it too. I was like, she doesn't want the world telling her that she can't have popcorn. And so she's going to make the fucking popcorn.
It's true.
Just because she
At least
can.
I'm not nibbling on it though on
Yeah.
the pod.
Yeah.
This is very true.
Yeah. But I liked hearing your dialogue.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Nah, fuck it. I'm going to do it.
We did that. We discussed that. My sister told me not to drink and it made me upset. But my sister told me not to have a glass of wine on the plane.
Yeah.
And then I was
You're
like
I'll
show her.
Had she said, like, have 12 glasses on the plane, you would have been like, no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I texted her mid-air and I was like, just a heads up, don't say things like that to me as I'm drinking the glass of wine.
Oh my God. My brother used to do that, like, when we were kids. We had our shower that we shared, and then our parents had their shower.
Yeah.
And he would be like, I want to take a shower in Mom and Bubba's bathroom.
Okay,
And I would be
what's
like,
with the Bubba thing? That's what you call Papa?
I call him Bubba, yeah. Bubba is dad in Farsi.
Say it again.
Baba, but I call him Bubba. Like,
Is that
my
B-O-B-O or B-O-B-O-A?
B-A-B-A.
Bubba.
Bubba. Yeah.
Oh, like Baba.
I mean, I said it the way I say it.
You're lucky we have this table in between us. So I'm going to come over there. I'm going to punch you in the fucking eye. This turtleneck is so just constricting.
I know.
And I feel like my head's going to snap off my body.
No, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Okay, so the shower.
the shower, my brother would be like, I'm going to take a shower in Mom and Bubba's bathroom. And then I'd be like, I want to take a shower in Mom and Bubba's bathroom. And then he'd be like, fine, I actually want to take one in our bathroom. And then I'd be like, no, I want to take one in our bathroom. And he would do like reverse psychology on me until he got the bathroom that he actually wanted.
Wow.
And it worked every time. Like, I was such a sucker for it. I always wanted what he said he wanted.
That's such an older sibling thing to do.
Yeah.
I was thinking though, being home again, I went on a couple like long romps with the dog, like through the neighborhoods and stuff, through like what your neighborhood.
You
and
did?
all over, and it brings back so many memories. Like I went into the woods that I spent far too much of my childhood in.
Mm-hmm.
We
Sheepdog attack.
Yep. Sheepdog attack was right on the cusp of the forest. But we used to spend hours down there in what we called the ditch because there was like, there was like a water stream in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go down there we would bake a thing in the oven of like dino nuggets
Okay.
and fries.
Okay.
And then we'd like wrap it all up and we'd put like towels on our heads, towels on our bodies, and bring, for some reason, always Irish Spring was in abundance at the house.
Is that bottled water?
Soap.
Oh.
And we'd bring it down to the ditch and we pretended we were at a spa. and we would like bathe in it and stuff. And there was a deeper part where it like trickled down, and it was like if it was rainy, there would be a tiny swimming hole, sort of. But if you got stuck in there and you one time I scratched to get out, and worms just all came out. We would bathe in it and be like, I'm going out of the hot springs. It was fucking freezing. And we found out later it was sewage runoff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I think that's got to be part of the reason why I have, you know, all this hair.
No. No way.
Waiting to sprout a third tit.
Oh my God.
It be like romping around the neighborhood and stuff reminded me, I used to have a balance beam in our house, a short balance beam. And like from age, I don't even know, 5 to probably 14 or 15, like if I was home and the family was home, I would be on that balance beam, like trying to perform.
Really?
For them.
Interesting.
And being like, look at these tricks, I think was the underlying like, and I kind of forgot about that. But then like going home again, I realized like I find myself like dancing in the kitchen and like trying to like entertain them still.
Yeah.
And then it just reminded me of like all the things of like being up in the childhood bedroom. I like was thinking back to when I was in gymnastics, because there's all these apps now like Headspace and stuff to put you to sleep. And I was thinking about like my brain, I used to get so nervous in gymnastics that I had a CD called Head Games.
What was on the CD?
It was a nice voice.
Okay.
You in male form.
Oh, male form.
It was a guy. I remember that. And he would just talk to you with like some sort of nice background.
So it wasn't Jock Jams.
And that was for the rest of the day. But at night I had to listen to this CD that was like, would teach you like tricks to basically get out of your own head so that you could do really scary tricks or like be willing to throw them for the first time.
Oh. Were you, sorry, this is unrelated. I'm just curious. Did you do mostly beam, or were you doing like the parallel bars, or not parallel, unparalleled bars? What are they called?
Unparalleled.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, they are parallel, but one's lower than the other.
They're teetered.
The teetered bars.
They've got levels.
Yeah.
No, you did all 4 events.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Bars, vault, beam, and floor.
Okay.
Beam was probably the reason I had that CD.
Got it.
There were times when I was like fearless. I remember many times we would do like little awards, and I always got like the Daredevil award because I was young and I always felt like, oh, the coach can catch me. So I would try everything until one of them broke my pinky toe. It's fine. He didn't mean to, I think. But
he's like, I gotcha. Oops.
Like, you just jitto chop my, you know what? Ditto top my toe. My toe would twitch so bad that I was convinced that it was re-breaking. So I had my sister take the computer chair, duct tape a tray on it for food, because I would sit. I didn't think I could let go of my toe because it would quiver and crack. So I thought I had to be physically holding my toe in my hand, which is very uncomfortable for a long time. I was an idiot, you know? But what were we saying?
Entertaining the family, gymnastics, the head games.
Oh,
you were listening.
There
to
were
these
times
tapes.
when it was like balls to the wall, throw every trick, and then I would have these periods where I would be like, I can't do anything.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, why am I doing this to myself? This is so fucking scary. This is the worst thing ever. And then like every now and then, like the pressure would build up for a competition or something, and like something good would like just go for it, and like it would be good, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's why we do it.
Yeah,
it's the best feeling in the world. And I remember feeling like that when we were in Columbus recently, because it had been a few weeks since I like performed in a theater, which is like where I really envisioned my show to be. And for the first like song, when I went out as my first character, I just like remember just like fucking losing myself on stage.
Aww.
And like just thinking like I just felt like I was alone in the room because I was having so much fun.
Yeah,
I just like did not give a fuck.
That's
but I know
amazing.
everyone else is having fun too, I think.
Yeah.
But it was just
for sure.
I think I was hoping like I hope they're having fun if I'm having fun too.
It's crazy to think that you got to the point where you're selling out theaters.
I know.
Like it wasn't that long ago.
So many years of 2 ticket sales.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think changed to get you there?
I think there was a period when I went into stand-up knowing, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to start a birth.
I love it. Finally. Not just me.
I'm going to pull a Miriam. But I was in college, and I started doing stand-up, and then I remember one day my parents called me, and I was stoned, eating Cold Stone. And my mom was crying. I don't know if my dad was crying. And my mom was like, how could you do this to us? How could you do this to our family? The vulgarity and what's going to happen when I'm in the grocery store and I bump into someone? You know, what are they going to say? Oh, I saw your daughter. I mean, just an abomination. It was just like telling stories, you know, at the beginning. It was just like stories. My friend Ken used to always be like, you tell stories with no punchlines. He ain't wrong. But just like kept doing it. And then, you know, you get invited to do shows, and those are fun. You start doing, like, more and more time and whatever. And I moved to LA, and I lived on a friend's couch for a little while until I could get a 9-to-5. Because I was like, I don't want my parents to have any say in what I'm doing. Like, I don't want them to think that I need help. Like, they wouldn't help me anyways. But it was just like, all right, I'm on my own, and you guys don't get to have a say in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. So, and their thing was like, you have to have insurance. And you have to, like, make a living for yourself or whatever. Like, be able to support yourself. And so, you know, it was like, that meant, like, real job, not, like, bartending or serving or something. I don't know if some of those places do give insurance. But I was like, it has to be a salaried position with this, this, and this that uses my college degree to get there while I'm doing stand-up. Like, that was the last rung of, like, I'll show them I can do all of this at once. And for that first year while I had that job, it was like, for the first 6 years, we're just like sleepless, not seeing any friends, except for, you know, comics become your friends because it's all you do all the time.
Yeah.
And it takes over your whole mind. And it's like doing a lot of shows and stuff. And then started doing a lot of man on street stuff too, because I was like, stage isn't enough. And like YouTube was kind of, you know, was a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to put out little videos, little skits and bits.
And you have a lot of characters floating around in your head too, so it was a fun way to do that.
I always had wigs. I moved to LA with a bunch of wigs. And so started doing the man on street stuff. And then Nikki Glazer asked me to like come be like a researcher / like help with some of the writing on her. It was like a Comedy Central pilot. And I was like, this is it.
I made it.
This is an entertainment job. And so I quit my job of like a year and some change for a 3-week job.
Oh my God.
It might have been a little bit longer, but it was like, gosh, I don't even know. I think it was like $700 a week.
Okay.
Maybe less. But I was like, great. Yeah, I had a laptop that like did not work at all. So like I was supposed to be the researcher and my laptop was so slow that other people ended up researching and I got to write because I couldn't afford a new laptop.
Yeah.
And then after that it was like, oh fuck, dude, like what am I gonna do now? Like I just left this like kind of, I wouldn't say cush position, but you know, it was like you could get by on it and pay for gas and food and rent. Then after that, I like did a couple like small things, couple side things. Like I think I bartended for like a little bit, and we talked about that.
Yeah, at the hotel.
And then did a thing with Funny or Die, and then ended up getting a full-time job with them. That was like, I was like, okay, this does everything. This is like I'm writing, I'm shooting stuff. I'm like with these people who are like so funny and talented, and like learning every single day and pushing myself, and that was great. And then from that. Like I remember auditioning for Wild 'N Out and like getting more and more into the characters and like exploring more on stage because it was like, okay, don't worry about money. Like anytime money hasn't been a worry, I've been like my most creative.
Yeah.
Because you just don't, you're like, all right, that's on the back burner. Let's have some fun and like let's laugh again.
Right.
And I remember I tried so many characters on stage when I was working at Funny or Die. The hummus guy. Whose accent I could never figure out.
The yoga teacher. You were doing
the
a yoga teacher for
Chutney.
a while.
Chutney and the hummus guy had the same wig.
Okay.
I used to do this character Deb that was like Deb on the street. And I would like interview people at like hot spots in LA. Yeah, there were a bunch of them. And then
you were doing an old lady. Who was the old lady?
The old lady.
Yeah.
Babs.
Yes, Babs.
That didn't come until like the e-pilot.
Oh, okay.
That was way later.
Okay.
Oh, there was a manager that saw me perform at, like, Flappers and was like, you're funny. And I was like, oh, I'm doing a show next week at the Improv if you want to come. Like, I can get you on my guest list. And she was like, hilarious. Like, she was a manager at a company, and then so she, like, started what they call, like, hip pocketing, which is, like, they send you stuff so you can submit for writing jobs, auditions, stuff like that.
Got it.
And then when I got the job working with Nikki, they were like, okay, we're gonna, like, we want you now that you're making money in this industry. And I stayed with them for a while, auditioned for Wild and Out with this character that I'd been doing around town. Somebody started producing a show called, like, Comedy Rap Battle.
Okay.
And so I kept, like, doing them in this little blue cap, and I had this character called Lil Pickles.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of, like, I kept winning the comedy rap battles, and, like, a lot of people freestyle. I was, like, pretty much pre-writing everything.
Yeah.
I was, like, roast jokes that rhymed. But I went into this audition at, like, I think it was like 7 a.m. before going to work at Funny or Die. And, like, it was just, like, there's just days when things click and your brain is, like, firing. And it was that morning, and I remember, like, staying and doing all these things, and, like, Nick was there, Nick Cannon, and they were like, this girl's just fucking silly, but, like, doing, like, Elvis impressions and, like, really odd things, and they were like, yeah, you're our token white girl for this season. You're fucking weird. But it was great because the whole time he was always encouraging me to be my, like, weirdest self. It was a little bit of a push and pull because at the same time you go into wardrobe and they put you in these chunky earrings, so much makeup, so much hair, and, like, the outfits were, like, it wasn't, you know, it's tougher to maintain your personal style. It's like you got to dress kind of a certain way on the show, and then, like, wanting to, like, be like, okay, I need to kind of fit in, but then also Nick would pull me aside and be like, hey, be your weird self.
Yeah.
Put your fucking wigs on and do what you do. But then at the same time, there were some cast members that were like, we don't wear wigs on the show. Like, that's not something we do here. And they had been on the show for, like, 12 years. So I was like, fuck.
But Nick said,
I like the cast members all kind of help each other, and, like, I don't want to, like, piss anyone off by doing something that's not kosher for the show. So I ended up, you know, like, having a couple panic attacks in a couple private rooms, but then being like, you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
'Cause you're going to go home and regret it if you didn't. And there were, like, a couple good moments, but overall it was like, I was really nervous most of the time, like, filming. That was, like, my first TV show, and it was like you film 2-3 episodes a day, and, like, I'm not a rapper.
Yeah.
like, fuck, what rhymes with shit? And I'm, like, pulling all these guys aside, like, do you know what 6 bars is? Like,
oh my God. Yeah, I can't believe, I think I remember seeing, like, video, because we hadn't, like, reconnected at that point, and I remember you being on Wild and Out, and I just assumed you weren't writing your own raps.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, I know, but, like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, no way, like, you weren't a rapper in my mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just wild to think that that's what you were doing.
Around the time of, like, before, during, and after Wild and Out, I also got really aggressive about, like, doing voiceover, which was actually a lot because of my mom. She was like, Bex, you got a little rasp in your voice. I think you gotta get into the voice. I think my mom was trying to get me to do anything but stand up. And she was like, I read somewhere they make good money. Why don't you try to get into some of that?
Yeah.
You know, it's like how parents call and they're like, why don't you try to get on SNL?
Yeah.
Just give them a call.
yeah.
And you're
it's
like,
so easy
yeah,
to do.
fucking get right on it. But I remember telling my management, like, again and again, like, hey, I want to meet with a voiceover agent, like, whatever, you know. And then they hadn't done it yet, but I went into my little closet and I recorded I took, like, a couple actors that I, like, news. You can go on a voiceover agency's website and hear all the talent's reels. And so I would go and, like, listen to some of them and, like, what they all had. And some of them had, like, a commercial reading for, like, McDonald's, and then, like, character animation stuff, you know, to show their range and their voices and their accents. So I, like, took down a bunch of notes of, like, things that I thought were my best voices, went in the closet and recorded a reel of my voices, like, what I thought were my best. And so I had that, and I had my team, like, start sending it out, and then they set a meeting with someone, like, as a favor. And on that day, they were like, yeah, we don't have anyone that really has that, like, who's a girl, adult, female, who sounds like a young boy, that could play a young boy potentially forever.
Right.
You know, like Tommy Pickles or something.
Bart Simpson, too.
Yeah. So,
Right?
I don't know about that, actually.
I'm pretty sure Bart Simpson was a girl.
We
There
got a
we go.
yes from
Yes.
the boys.
Yeah.
I had gotten my first voiceover agent, and I was like, great. I auditioned for years before anything happened. And then the first thing I happened to book was an Amazon campaign that was like 50 commercials. That was like the first time I had been like received a check for that much money all at once. And I was like, it was like a little kid getting too big of an allowance. But I really once I started making money regularly with voiceover, and it was like regular campaigns first, it wasn't animation.
Yeah.
And I kept telling them like, hey, I really want to do animation. Like I took a bunch of voiceover classes, and like they told me that's my signature sauce
Yeah.
is young boy. And you're sending me out for these like K Jewelers things. No one's going to want to buy jewelry from like, so we've got some gorgeous hand-crusted diamonds.
Hand-crusted.
And a lot of funky sex diamonds.
It's exactly where my brain went.
Looking to have funky sex since Valentine's Day?
Oh.
Come down to K Jewelers.
Find these crusty diamonds.
Hand-crusted. I meant crafted.
Yeah, I know.
What's wrong with me today? Crusty, funky?
Crusty funk diamonds.
Crusty Funk 101. But eventually, I went to a going away party with my friend Eric Barstein.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this guy who came up to me. I was wearing a fanny pack and like Chucks. And this guy walked up to me and goes, well, you look like the least pretentious person here. What's up? I was like, what's going on? And we just like hit it off. And I was like, yeah, I'm a comic, whatever. Like I do some voiceover here and there.
Whatever,
And he was like,
I'm a comic. Whatever.
And he was like, I'm a voiceover agent. And he was like, how do you like your agent? And I was like, well, I've been wanting to do a lot of this stuff and they don't send me on it. And he was like, well, why don't we have lunch? And so ever since I worked with him, his name's James Murray. He's amazing.
James Murray.
He's always known
Changed
exactly what to do with me and where to put me. And like I've been like, hey, I have relationships with these people. Can we help foster this relationship of the people I know? And like, it's weird when something's not in alignment. When you're like, it would be like if you were like, I don't design toilets.
Right.
I design offices
or
homes, or I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And he just really got me. And so it was like all the animation was just like, God, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. And so when I was making a little bit of money to not be traveling every day, because just like, second I did Wild and Out, my team was like, okay, you're on tour constantly. And I wasn't selling tickets. It was like really tragic. You're like breaking even.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being at like the Newark airport bawling my fucking eyes out because I had missed a flight and I didn't have money to get home. And I just like sat there for hours being like, can I do this? Like life.
Yeah.
And like, is this ever gonna like be something? And I don't know. Not am I ever gonna be something, but like, it was just like, can I keep doing this?
Yeah.
And like be all right.
It's kind of wild that you did, like, I don't know that I would have stuck with it. Like, and obviously it's worked out and it's so great that you did, but like that pressure to not be making ends meet is
frightening.
Yeah. Like, I think I would be too scared to keep going.
Yeah. There were some frightening, really, really embarrassing times of like just being with people and having no money.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and like even after like doing well for a little bit and then you're like, oh fuck. But
did you
it made me a really good liar. the feelings of like discomfort, I got really good at like figuring out how to get things with if I didn't have money, like calling airlines and like being like this and this happened and like just figuring it out somehow. Or like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, bad?
It was probably acting practice.
Yeah.
It made you a better actress.
I shouldn't say I got good at lying. Good at acting.
Yeah, you got better at acting.
But it, like, I think that still pops up. Like when Aaron and I missed a flight the other day, I like called the airline and they didn't have any first class left on the new flight we got booked on, and I was like, my girlfriend just broke both of her wrists, and it just came out of nowhere. Like we were like I didn't plan to say that.
Yeah.
It just blurted out. And they were like, okay. And I was like, so a first class seat would be nice because it's tough for her to carry the bags. And they were like, oh, I understand.
And then they gave you one and you took it and Erin sat in the back.
And then I bring her the wine and they're like, did you just bring her fucking wine? And she's like, no, I brought my own tumbler.
Carrying it like this to prove.
Yeah, she's like, how am I supposed to act like I have 2 broken wrists? But so rewinding a little bit, like when I had a little bit of money to where I didn't have to go to like every single city and state to make $500 or like $800 or whatever it was to sell no tickets at a show and like barely make my guarantee, you know, with the flights and everything. I like put the voiceover money aside and I was like, okay, I hate what I'm doing on stage. I hate this hour of material is no good. It's not good enough for me.
Okay.
It's like, this is not gonna do it in my eyes. Like I can't be delivering this to people because it's not my best foot forward. And for so long I couldn't because I was like, fuck, this is the only way I can make money right now.
Sure.
So I was like, all right. And so I just like, I told my team, like, I don't want to be on the road for a minute. Like, I just want to figure this out. So I like popped off. I visited home. Some stuff happened with parents, like health stuff with my mom.
Yep.
Kind of, I took a minute and was like, okay, what do I actually want to do on stage? And I like wrote a 1-woman like character show and was like, all right, this is it.
This was Snow Circus.
Yeah, eventually would turn into Snow Circus, but it was like some time to finally do that. And when I really started like revisiting the characters, I hadn't done characters in a while because after Wild and Out and Funny or Die and all that stuff, I had like a deal with E to make 2 character pilots.
That's right.
That didn't end up getting picked up. And I was like, okay, well, if they don't want my characters on TV, my characters must not be good. So I should not be doing them anymore. Because it was like, these characters are all based on real life shit. They're all like very, you know, deeply ingrained in my spirit and soul and like my heart. And they're inspired by family and like, you know, people close to me and stuff. And so I was like, there was such a bad stain on characters. And there was similarly a bad stain on stand-up from my parents that's still kind of there.
Yeah.
Of being like, stand-up is bad.
Interesting.
Characters are bad. Like, this is evil. You're doing a bad
And now you
thing.
do both.
now
you do stand-up as characters.
You motherfucker. Those voices start to fade out when you get older, I think.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you know what? I'm doing my thing and I'm having a fucking blast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did those things, and then I started doing the characters again when I went home, and my mom was, they told her that her breast cancer was back, and no one was home. My dad was home, and I was traveling for work, and my sister was working at the ER, and so I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna go and surprise her, and I still like didn't have much money, and I just booked a one-way flight, and I like surprised her at home, and the doctors wouldn't give her an answer, and they were like, I don't know, the doctors like, they just don't know yet, but you have nodules on your lungs and it's looking like it's most certainly probably back. And so she's just at home like, well, when the fuck am I going to know?
Yeah.
Like, her sister died from it, her young sister. So she's like, when is this bitch going to tell me I'm dying for sure?
Yeah.
I just have to pace around here like, while this thing is inside my body attacking me. And so
Mama, I'm home.
I was like, Mom, I got an idea. So we like got in her car. I put on Ludacris Move Bitch. I was like, we're just going to go down there. We're going to demand an answer. So we like rolled in hot to the doctor's office and like she was like, I'm not taking no for an answer. Like you have to find out right now what's going on like with my body. And come to find out that the doctor was just on vacation in Hawaii and had like something had gotten messed up. And there was like a miscommunication. They weren't nodules. They were like, I don't know exactly what it was, but he wasn't giving her an answer after telling her that her cancer was probably back just because he was in Hawaii.
That's fucked up.
And they were like covering him for him because of the mistake. Yeah, which ended up being worse than just telling her. Yeah. Because she had to wait and stuff. But so she found out it wasn't coming back.
Yay.
She was going to live. She had already had a double mastectomy. It was like, she was like, how can this still be? I mean, they've been cut off. For fuck's sakes. Are you still trying to kill me? And So we went to her favorite restaurant, the Thirsty Lion, to celebrate, and we decided to go night skiing. And so I went to Goodwill and I found this like one-piece ski suit that I put on, and I was just like, I literally felt like I was rebirthed. I was like born again. Like I started like shaking my butt in the mirror and like started mogling around, and like the wig just fell into place, and the character was like, it was making my mom laugh, and it was just like, boom, she's born, we're back. I loved doing the character so much that I stopped doing stand-up as myself and started doing it as her. Started headlining as her, Susie Chapstick.
Yep.
And just like having fun again. And then that was the year that I like got Just for Laughs, New Faces, because I had been auditioning for stand-up, and then I went back to characters, and that was a big moment, standing backstage with my wigs and like being like, I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not walking out on stage just as me with a microphone. I'm really glad that I'm here with a full tray of shit. Costumery and Mason Ramsey bow ties and ski boots and poles. I had more props than fucking anyone in that thing.
I remember one day you were like, I don't know if you had just gone thrifting or something. You're like, Miriam, I found this really great Coors sign. Like, I think I'm going to use it on stage. And then you're like, will you help me carry it? And the thing is so heavy and so huge. I was like, all right.
Yeah,
There
the
we
first
go.
wax at the character show were so insane. There was a mini trampoline. There was tons of fake snow.
Yeah.
There was a Coors sign. There was a flamethrower. Not a flamethrower. There was
A torch.
torch.
Yeah. Yeah, they were flames.
151 rum.
And then you
falling
were, like,
off of a thing.
Fallen.
The
Oh.
show started with a pratfall,
Yeah.
which was supposed to be like fake haha, except the first time I did it, I got stuck
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yep. So good.
I was like, help! Help! And no one knew if it was part of the show or not.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. That was a fun show. I brought
That
a
was
few
a re-
friends to it.
That was a very
and
fun one.
Yeah. It was a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
It was good.
But what took 9 hours to say was basically like returning to my roots and like my family, and like being reminded of like where I came from and that sense of humor. Because I think I lost a lot of it over the years. Just like trying to like grind and hustle and like thinking like, this is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
You
And I'm
know?
sure you're getting like so many comics are sort of competitive with each other, and it's just like we were talking about this the other day, but like being able to find your own voice without like mimicking what other successful comics are doing just takes time too.
Yeah. I would say one thing that like, but the pressure situations were always really eye-opening. I think
When you're
because
under
it
pressure.
reminded me of like gymnastics, and it was like, it's time to perform.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do it? You have to.
Yeah, there's no option.
And there were moments like that on like at every chapter. I feel like up until now.
Yeah.
After doing that character stuff, one of the other biggest like pivotal moments I feel like in my career that I was just like daydreaming about the other day was like Alex Edelman, who has an amazing show called Just for Us. If you haven't seen it, go see it. So he was doing his like one-man show, but I was like opening for him, and my touring agent was standing in the back of the room with who is now my manager, Joe, and I did a set as Susie, and like they came up after, and he was like, who the fuck are you? Psycho. And we all like went to like Bootsy Bellows that night and just like danced and like had a really fun night with everyone. And then I was like, my manager had left the business at that point, my old manager, and they kind of just plopped me onto someone else. And it was like, oh, I don't have the history that I had with this person. So I ended up leaving the old one and kind of just being like, I need to figure out what the fuck I want to do. And then one day I just like called him up and I was like, all right, can you meet me at, I had to meet me at like Mama Shelter. And I was like, all right, first things first, I know you don't have any female clients. If I need to bitch about my period, is that going to be all right? And he was like, absolutely. And I was like, all right, glad that's off the list. Now here's what I'm thinking for like career plan. And I just like told him all, and he was like, let's fucking go. Let's do it. And like, just always like, he's such an entrepreneur and such a like anything you dream up, like go get it.
Yeah.
And also like really cares about like working with people that are good people, happy people, like, you know, good vibes, because it's like you're going to spend, 60-70% of your life with the people you work with.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's no point in wasting that time if someone's going to be no good to you.
Yeah.
Or evil or awful or mean or not about the vision, you know?
Totally.
It's just like optimistic. There's always a way to get something done.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe has just like taken everything I've like tossed at him and been like, in the first week we worked together, I was like, I need a horse. He called me the next morning at like 7 a.m. He's like, you ready to love me? Found you a fucking horse. And we were like driving up to Ogora Hills so I could shoot the cold open of Snow Circus, which was like
That's
on
right.
a horse.
Yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah.
But he just is like, you know, he's just like a wild, fun, amazing dude that just like reignited my like old train of thought, which is just like if you build it, you can do it. If you dream it, like you can do it.
Yeah.
And like I think for a while you get beaten over the head so many times that you're like, can I?
Right.
Can I do it?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then, you know,
the like system, like the industry, like whatever, there are gatekeepers, right? And like I remember when the E thing didn't go through.
yeah.
It's just like a bump. You put so much time into something and then they dangle the carrot. They're like, this is so good. We want you to develop it to this level. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is happening. And then it's like out of nowhere, it's just gone.
Yeah.
And how do you like bounce back from that and stay motivated and not be jaded towards a system that just like chews
Totally.
you up and spits you out, you know?
And it's like that other thing too, that it's like once everyone puts their feedback on a project and you have
Yeah.
a platter of 90 different cuisines all in one that don't, you know,
Totally.
necessarily mesh. It's like
yeah.
not only did your thing get turned down, you took all their notes and you did them.
Yeah.
And you changed all your characters and your jokes to what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
none of this is good.
And then you
just
don't
feel
even,
like
it's
shit.
not even recognizable to
You don't
what
even-
you wanted at first.
You're
you
like,
know?
am I me anymore?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And you're walking down Hollywood Boulevard and you go, margaritas?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
No, but yeah, every time I've returned home, something good has come of it. Whether it's the Tiger Goodwill or my parents just like reminding me how to be a human again.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes in LA, I truly fucking forget.
It's easy to do here. Like I'm very grounded and I don't have
You
like,
are very grounded, Miriam.
but like being in LA is just a wild
yeah,
place because it feels like everyone's trying to get something. It's hard to know like if people are being authentic or not.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just like it's been a trip to like find real authentic people in this city.
Yeah, and that's why you're my only friend.
I'm not your only friend.
But that's what everyone says about it. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
what can you do for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to
Totally.
have, back in the day, I used to have friends, strictly clubbing friends. I like had divided friends. It was like
The ones
you-
that were hot enough to get bottle service and then
it was like
everyone else.
you and then the clubbing friends. Like Miriam's the friend I can go get dinner with.
Uh-huh.
We can pay for
Yeah.
everything ourselves.
Yeah. Some of us can.
Yeah,
Oh,
there were
just
some
kidding.
times.
There were some times.
My parents always make fun of me now when I buy like nice things. They're like, "Remember when you didn't have 2 fucking cents to rub together?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yes, Dad, you little dick."
Yep. We all do. You wouldn't be who you are today without having gone through a bunch of downs too, you know?
Yeah. When I auditioned, which was like a 2-year process, or maybe 1 year, 1 year and a half. It was like 2 years before it, from auditioning to getting going, that I got cast as Parker J. Cloud on the Nickelodeon show, and that was when I started my business because it was like recording X amount of times a week, like all the money goes into there. It's like start an S corp, she got a link,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like that's an easy way to do things. And then like once I started that, I don't know if it was like my background of like studying entrepreneurship in college or something, but it was like a fire was lit under my ass where I was like, okay, we're in business mode now. Like,
Yeah.
stop feeling like it was less like I'm waiting for someone to hand me a check and more like I'm going to go get it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
I mean, it's been like that too. Like
Yeah.
I never really, until you articulated it that way, I never really thought about it, but it definitely was like you were always looking for the next thing
Mm-hmm.
to like bring in money.
Mm-hmm. And it felt so, you feel so like oddly helpless.
When you're waiting for a check.
Yeah. When you're
For
like,
sure.
I have no, powerless.
Yeah.
Even though you're the one like doing the task to get the money, it still
Mhm.
is like you feel like you don't really I think just because ever since I was like growing up, I was like, I always wanted to like have my own business. Like
Yeah.
in college, I used to have all these sketches of all these like businesses I wanted to start and like all these things.
Interesting.
But starting, yeah, you start it and you're just like, yeah, I everything. Let's go. Take all the stuff that I don't remember from college.
Yeah.
It's really nothing. You do those classes, you get nothing from.
I know.
It's
I mean,
like-
I feel like I learned how to be creative. Like I learned process and I learned how to take feedback and I learned how to like be agile.
Yeah. Yeah.
But did I graduate knowing how to be an architect, knowing any of the appropriate software, knowing how to get a job, knowing how to build a building, knowing any building code? No.
That's
Like
crazy.
all of that came from just working and figuring it out and
Yeah.
lying on my first resume.
Yeah.
It was the only way.
I feel like the biggest takeaway for me was like throwing myself into everything and like being adaptable to
Yeah.
people and like situations and places.
Mm-hmm.
And because I moved away to college and I didn't know anyone, and I was
Yeah.
so excited. I was like, I loved the people that I met once I got to college and like who I became and how they saw me. It was like shedding the old self and like being like, okay, we're on to the next, like, this is what I'm on the path of doing what I am eventually going to do.
Yeah.
And like, they see me as a person who is funny. And like, your friends from home are like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
funny. We're all funny.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, they're like, you're not professionally funny.
Uh-huh.
You're like, well, not yet.
But I
but
will
I gotta
be.
try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what else? Yeah, it's like everything with I was very bad, I feel like, in the first couple of years, like with accounting and like all that stuff. It's like my dad was always like, hey, you gotta have books.
Yeah.
You gotta have books. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna put on my books? Shopped for wigs for 2 hours? Well, guys, this has been Start at Birth. It still is.
It still is.
Really, thank you so much for watching, for listening, for your feedback, your stories, your comments. Everything means so much. So we really appreciate it, and we love you. If you have anyone that you think might like this podcast, this hodgepodge of a fuckberry, feel free to share it with them.
Yep. Them and follow our Instagram, Start at Birth.
Yeah, the Instagram account is called Start at Birth. I'm at Becky Robinson 4, at Entitled Housewife, at Susie Chapstick Skis, at Alan Gingrich, at
Bev.
Donnie Cush, California, at Bev on Melrose. Website, entitledhousewife.com. We're doing a pre-order for some really cute new items. I think I was wearing one of the pieces from the collection, but that's going to be coming out soon, if it hasn't already dropped by the time we release this one. So look out for all that stuff, entitledhousewife.com, and all my 2023 tour dates will be coming out soon. I've been Becky Robinson.
And I am Miriam Mulligafari. And this is Start at Birth.